Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here, and I'm kind of just, I'm in my home office. I literally just about 2 minutes ago got finished with a live webinar called The Entrepreneur Shortcut that totally rocked. You may want to catch the replay for that. But what I'm really excited about with this episode is that I'm just spicing it up. This is totally different, and this is so unique because what I'm bringing to you here today is footage from being on stage at the In the Zone event with Shanda Sumpter. And Shanda was one of my inspirations for starting Life on Fire. And so what's cool is that at her event, as I'm delivering the presentation, you're gonna notice that there's a woman that goes up to the microphone that is literally my attorney from Connecticut that back in 2008 when I had a business that failed, if you have heard my story, she literally flew across the country, went to Shanda's event, and happened to see me on stage. And the last interactions I had with her was her advising me to file bankruptcy in 2008 because I was $50,000 in debt. And she went up to the mic and was like, "Oh my God, this guy, the last time I talked to him was, like about to be filing bankruptcy." So it was just such a trip to see that happen and to see it unfold in like our reactions. But anyway, the actual content is about Facebook marketing. The content is about podcasting. It's so awesome. It's all on camera at the event. So you're going to totally get a ton out of it. So grab your pen, grab your notebook, and dive into this session of Life on Fire TV.
Hey, what's going on? Nick Unsworth here, and I'm a kick-ass business coach, and I'm on an absolute mission to help you find your purpose in life, to help you love what you do for work every single day, to help you be the rock star that you are meant to be, to make more money than you ever thought was possible, and to have more time freedom so you can actually enjoy the life that you're living. I'm here to help you set your life on fire.
So, I have got a really exciting next session for you. So, my very, very good friend, and I'm excited to have him with us today, is Nick Unsworth. And Nick Unsworth is going to join us on the stage right now, and we are going to banter back and forth and teach you a little bit about marketing, things that we're doing right now in both of our businesses that are really making us a lot of money. So would you like to hear what's happening online right now that's making us a lot of money? Bring Nick to the stage. Let's go. Oh, that is such a cheesy look. All right.
Selfie?
So there are a lot of selfies hanging out on Facebook, that's for sure. All right, so thank you.
I just want to say thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to be here. So what's going on, guys? Good to see you. How amazing is Shanda? You're so good. You're so good.
I adore you. Thank you, honey. So Nick and I are great friends, and we're both Zone 3 friends, which means that we're in each other's networks, and we call each other a lot. Mm-hmm. So we text message, we call each other a lot. We're like, hey, there's this new thing going on Facebook. Do you know anything about it? Yeah, I do. Here's what's good about it. Here's what's not good about it. This is such a big power. List building, sales conversations. Hey, what's going on with your team, and how do you do this? Like, we really tap into each other a lot. So at this event, I thought it wouldn't be any more perfect than to just have someone like you sitting with me on this stage.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you for that. And I think, can I share the story about how we met?
Oh, God, yeah.
All right, so I'm going to go back a little bit because I think that, everyone, we're all here for kind of the same reason, right? So we're all here because we either had a dream when we were a little kid. Maybe you're rekindling that dream now, and it's to have a better tomorrow than you're having today, right? It's to either make more money, be happier, be more fulfilled, fulfill that childhood dream that you had, or, build a business to get away from the corporate job that you don't like. And so, I had always had these crazy dreams as a kid. I was fortunate. My mom was always, I don't know if it was Thomas the Train. You guys remember Thomas the Train? How good is that little freaking train? But I was fortunate. My mom was always telling me that I could do whatever I put my mind to. And so from that, even though I had a crazy journey as an entrepreneur, I have had way more failures than I've had successes. And I mean, I had some real hard knocks experiences, I had a business that failed and I was $50,000 in debt. I bought all these courses, I wasn't taking action, and I was crushed. I was about ready to, for the first time in my life, not be able to pay bills. From that experience, I ended up going to an event much like this, and I plugged in, I got a mentor, I surrounded myself with amazing people. And that's one of the things that you were talking about is, us going being able to go back and forth and talk with Ree and Nikki and all these cool people. The power of having friends like this and the power of being in a community or a mastermind together is huge. And so from that experience, I had to make a decision. I had bought all these courses. Some of you guys are going to be in the same exact spot, right? You've learned so much. You're like, oh, I want to do this so bad. But why the heck aren't you doing it, right? And sometimes it takes that pressure. So for me, my pressure, I had to be so financially screwed that I was up against the wall so bad. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
Joe was talking about that last night.
I had to be so, like, why on earth did I put myself through that? Wouldn't it have been great if I just, took action? You know what I mean? But I had to be that bad where it was like, oh my God, I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent, So I made that decision, and I just started taking fast action. What I found was that once I did it, and I made a few bucks, I became like a Facebook marketing expert. And the funny thing was, when I did that, I wasn't even on Facebook yet. So how crazy is that? My girlfriend at the time, she's like, time out.
You're not even on Facebook.
You don't even have a profile. You're going to be an expert. I'm like, well, look how good you are at it. And I'm like, I bought all these courses. I'm like, listen, I know I'm going to figure out, I'm learning how to market on it. And by buying all these courses, I got some really good advice. It was, if you know more than someone else, then just coach people that know less than you, right? So I didn't need to go out and be this big dog and, consult huge companies. But what I realized is that very rapidly when I started, consulting, my first client was a dog trainer for $200, right? I mean, I was scratching and clawing to do anything to get revenue. I focused on profit-producing activities. I banged on doors, and everyone in this room, we can all do it. If you really need to make money, and you really need to make your business work, you can do it if you really want to. It just, we never really are in that pressure spot, right? So, so I did that, things took off, and then the best part is that it created progress. And as soon as you get that first client, or as soon as you get that little victory, I did a little celebration dance. I started paying off debt, and it was like, oh my God, I can actually support myself. I can just, boom, make as much money as I want. All of a sudden, it was like game on. So I got a little bit, crazy with it, and I was like, you know what? These local clients are cool, but, I was doing that for the first couple weeks, but I was like, you know what? I want to just go bigger, because what I realized 4.5 years ago, nobody knew anything about Facebook.
So something just to hear and what he's talking about, to dovetail off of yesterday as we're going forward, is notice how Russ, Joe, myself, Nick, allow ourselves to dream bigger. It's a really important, and none of us have too much pride to do anything. I will hang out with the janitors in the stalls and clean it if that's what it takes for me to learn. We have our pride, our brand, whatever it is, out the door. We will do what it takes. We don't care.
That's a big thing, doing it what it takes. And I think what was wild, and I think that what's cool about sharing this is that it does tie into Facebook marketing, which is it's still a really hot way to get traffic right now. And so in that spot, I decided to up-level, and I was thinking, working with local realtors and insurance agents is great, but that's not going to set me free. That's not going to fulfill that childhood dream that I had. So I was like, you know what? And I realized that no one really knew how to market on Facebook. They had no idea.
Yeah, Mari talks about that too. She's like, complete right timing.
And so she's talking about Mari Smith. And so when you think about how I got started, it was as simple as this. One simple technique called modeling, right? So I looked at what Mari Smith was doing online. She was the only Facebook expert out there. She had a couple books. She blew up, built a huge career out of it. And so on my blog, I literally painted I noticed that she had turquoise. She wore turquoise. Her website was turquoise. And, and I think she had a picture like this. So I'm like, I'm going to do a picture like that. She was turquoise.
She didn't know either.
Yeah. And so I painted my girlfriend at the time comes home from work. She's like, oh my God, the living room wall or the dining room wall was completely blue one day. And she catches me with a tripod, taking pictures against it. And And because I was on such a shoestring budget, but I'm like, I'm building a website, baby. You know what I mean? I'm gonna, and I made it happen. And what's crazy is that I just modeled what she was doing.
Yeah.
And for branding, you know, fast forward after working with Nikki and realizing about colors and about visual identity and working with Ree, there's so much to it. But in the short term, at least make your colors congruent.
Yeah.
You know, so I made my website match my Twitter and match Facebook, and people started thinking I was actually, you know, a professional. Deal. So I took that professional selfie and I started running ads on Facebook. Now, I had a $100 budget, so this is pretty crazy. And I will, like, is it cool if I give a couple, little bit of step-by-step?
Please.
All right, so I had a $100 budget, and so I'm reinvesting back in the business. I'm like, all right, I want to get bigger clients. I want to make more money with this. So I had a course that I purchased. I won't say from who. And the course was about, all right, you know, Facebook advertising's hot. iPad contest and giveaways is really hot to build your email list. So I took a page from that, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to do that. And they recommended taking a photo of a blonde woman with an iPad in her hand, and you run that as an ad. So my name being Nick Unsworth, and my Facebook business page is Nick Unsworth. Want to encourage you guys, use your personal brand on Facebook as a page. Don't put Shanda Sumpter, blah, 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 all this stuff at the end. It's better to just be your name, because if you consider the environment, they're there to interact with friends, to see baby pictures. They're not there to be sold. So you want to appeal as you. So Facebook business page, use your name. So here I am, picture on Facebook, an ad. My name, Nick Unsworth, is the headline, because that's my page. Picture of a blonde woman holding an iPad. Can anyone think how good that would work? People are like, dude, what are you doing, man? You cross-dressing? Like, what's going on? So then I realized that after that experience many times in business, I'm very trusting, and I would always have put faith in other people and like, no, they know the way, and I would never really trust my gut. And what I realized is that our intuition is spot on, and when your gut tells you something, you got to run with it, because you're almost 99% of the time you're spot on. So I'm like, I'm just going to do this the way that I think it should be done. So I'm thinking, if it's Facebook and people are there to just build friendships and connect, then why don't I just put my own cheesy selfie picture there, and then I'm just going to write something friendly. So instead of trying to sell, I just wrote, what do you think of my new page? I asked the question. And guess who I targeted? Chief Marketing Officers. How's that for guts, right? I'm going to ask Chief Marketing Officers, what do they think of my new Facebook page? Screw it, right? So, I mean, Facebook, it's so cool. You can drill down, you can target people that make over 75 grand.
Yeah.
You can target people that have homes. You
I
can
like
target
it way
people.
better than Google AdWords.
Oh, it's so much better. You can drill down, and your perfect prospect is assuming that you know who they are, which is a big step. You got to really work with Shanda and know who that prospect is.
Yeah, and here's the cross promotion thing. So it's like, we had an elite dinner where Nick came to my house and Brett came to my house, and we worked with some elite clients. It was a blast. We had so much fun. And everybody had great breakthroughs at it. And one of the things you said at that dinner, you guys should write this down, and that is the message that I'm trying to promote, can it be promoted on Facebook? And tell them the criteria of how it could be. How could a message be promoted on Facebook?
Yeah, and so the big thing is that Facebook is literally the #1 source of traffic. So if you don't have an email list, do you realize that anyone could step out of here and within a week, you could have an email list? You know what I mean? You can have 1,000 people. If you had a budget and you want 5,000, easy, done in a week. So the whole thing is that you've got to get clear on who your target market is, because when you're clear on that, then we want to think about how are you going to find them on Facebook? Because in some cases, if you can't find them on Facebook, then you can't reach them, you can't market to them. If you can't market to them, then are they really ideal? Yeah. So part of the way that you discover who your ideal target market is, you want to think of, first and foremost, you could sit back and be like, oh man, I really love working with, and you could just kind of dream them up and think of their age, give them a name. We call it defining your customer avatar. If that's hard for you, think about who you currently work with and who's the best client that you have, and drill down on that person. What's their challenge? What's their frustration? What are the 3 Facebook pages that person would like? Because the pages that someone likes,
you should all be writing this down. And I could take what he just said and say, do you want to have a blog that actually converts and gets people to answer it? Think about one client that you're working with right now, or somebody, a friend that you've helped that you want to do that type of business. Your friends are always coming to you, right? and you're always advising them in the area that you like to work in.
Yeah.
Think about one person and write the blog to that one person. Like when I write the blog, it'll say, Christine, you know, if we had a conversation about your hitting your 2-year mark right now, I could write a whole blog on that conversation, write it to you, and then send it out in a newsletter, have people click through to my blog, because that's what you want them to do from your newsletter, so that they start leaving comments, right? And everybody goes, oh, you're in my ear. How do you know what I'm Same thing with Facebook.
Yeah, and it's so key. So, you know, really getting clear on who they are, because it would blow your mind the level of detail on Facebook and how you can zoom in so closely. You know, the reason I was in such debt before is because I hired an advertising company and I lost everything because we ran TV commercials, because you put it on TV, everyone sees it, it's so broad. Facebook, we can literally target exactly who you want, who's ideal. And when you're working with ideal customers, life is so much better. They're not price sensitive. They want what you have. They send you referrals to people just like them. So we are, and you, like I call my business Life on Fire. And if you want to live that way, you really want to make sure that you're working with who makes you happy. Because if you're working with clients that you don't like, it will drive you insane.
Which when I met Nick was working with big companies.
Yes, and this is exactly how that happened. So I'll jump to so here we are, ideal target market. For me, I drilled into chief marketing officers. First $100, I decided to say, what do you think of my new Facebook page? So the takeaway on that would be, you want to make your ads personal. So whether you're running an ad in the news feed or on the right-hand side, you want to make sure it's conversational, right? And so,
what does that look like?
So on the right-hand side, it's, an ad, and I'm saying, what do you think of my new page? So they click on the ad, then it would take them to a landing page. So this would be just a website page, right? I call them squeeze pages, landing pages. And what you're wanting to have happen is you're going to want them to land on something that's going to add value for them. So in my case, I know that people didn't know how to market on Facebook. They were overwhelmed. In your case, if you're in fitness, it could be 7 ways to lose 10 pounds in 30 days, right? Or how to run the half marathon and train in 3 months. The plan. So you want to give them something of value. If you go ad to a sale, you're toast. You will never make money on Facebook ads. It always goes from ad to what we call a lead magnet. So you're going to give them something of value. Now, when they do that, what's the cool thing is, that's when you're going to get their email address. So for these chief marketing officers, they see me saying, what do you think of my new page? And they're like, huh. They click on it, and then it's a video. And I'm saying, hey, what's going on? I'm really glad that you're here checking out my Facebook page, and I've got a special gift for you. So, I know that you're a chief marketing officer, and I know you may be overwhelmed with Facebook marketing, and you hear all this chatter about it, and you know what? It is time to get into Facebook marketing, and here's why. And I named some stats. Then I went into, so I've got a gift for you. I'm going to give you 3 videos that's going to walk you through everything you need to know to be successful with Facebook marketing, and how to train your team and or hire an employee to manage this for you. And by the way, you're going to get a raffle ticket to win an iPad just for entering in your email. And at this point, they're like, okay, I'll give you my email, Nick, right? So they enter the email. I now have an email, right? I could use this to build my list, and yep.
And the quick thing is you actually, I know when we did this, and by the way, Pace Club members, Marketing Mastery, your 3 video series that you actually targeted your ideal client and surveyed your list, these are like great reusing, okay, for just a little, for you guys. The landing page, you keep the landing page within Facebook, right, versus taking them out?
It could be both.
We found a better opt-in rate with people with not having to leave Facebook.
Yeah, so what's really cool is if they click on the ad and then they're landing on a page that's within Facebook, attached to your Facebook business page, sometimes you have a lower opt-in rate, your costs are lower, so that's great. A tool that I would really recommend for you guys, if you were to just Google, it's just called Lead Pages.
Yeah.
And what's crazy about this is it's built by marketers, it's tested by marketers. Every single time I get my branding hat on and I try and create this really cool landing page that I think is going to work, Lead Pages every single time beats it. So for you guys, if you're not a techie, if you don't know where to start, you just get that page and it will make the Facebook one for you. It's all mobile optimized, which is super important. So I'll just wrap up that little story, and then I want to share, get back to how we met. This kind of ties into it. So here I go, running this ad to chief marketing officers. And what happened is I was blown away, because this one metric on Facebook that makes all the difference in the world, it's called click-through rate. So all that means is it's the percentage of people that click on your ad versus how many people see it. And so the way that you really want to think about Facebook ads is you want people to be more interactive with your ads. You want them to click on it because Facebook will reward you for that. Because Facebook, their platform, they want to keep it fun for people. They don't want aggressive selling. So the more people interact with your ad, the lower your costs. So I went from spending about $1.25 for one click with my name, woman with an iPad, to spending pennies for a click just because I was being a nice guy saying, what do you think of my new page? Imagine that. Pennies. I took a $100 budget and I stretched the crap out of it. And so from that experience, literally a couple days later, I'm in this really dumpy two-family home because I was in such debt. And, you know, I didn't have a garbage disposal, didn't have a dishwasher. I mean, didn't even have kitchen cabinets. I rolled to my event and I used to sneak into my room and I used to eat protein powder and make a shake in the sink. That's how broke I was. And, you know, within 30 days from that point, eating, you know, protein shakes in my bathroom, filling up my little cup, here I'm running an ad because I had the guts to be like, you know what, I know this, and I believe in myself. I can do this stuff. I've seen little bits of progress. Chief marketing officers. Next thing you know, I get a phone call in my crappy little second bedroom, and I'm like, hi, this is Nick. And then he's like, oh, wow, I was expecting a receptionist. And I'm like, oh, yeah, believe in long lunches here at New Media. Pretty cool like that, you know. I'm a nice guy. And I'm like, so how can I help you? And he's just like, well, my name is Quincy, and I've got a big technology conference that's you know, coming up in Honolulu, and you know, we're looking for a keynote speaker, and we love what you're doing on Facebook. And I was like, well, you know, I'm really flattered, Quincy, and I mean, here I am, like, beside myself, right? I'm pinching, I'm like taking deep breaths, like, what the hell is going on right now, right? And so I somehow muster up the courage to say, well, what are you going to pay? Like, or what did I say? Oh, how much are you going to pay me to go out there to Honolulu? And he said, well, we don't have a big budget, but he said, we'll cover all your expenses. We will, you know, pay $1,000, and, you know, we want to have you out and keynote at this big, you know, technology conference. There's going to be a lot of marketing officers and things in attendance, and I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, all right, and he goes, hey, can you send me your press kit? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. I'll send it right after we get off the phone. I'm like, this sounds so great. I'm looking forward to it. Send me the details. I'll send you my press kit, and then I hang up the phone. I hear him Googling, what's a press kit, dude? I had no idea. I made it on a Word doc. I turned it into a PDF, which was like really advanced.
So what I used to do is when something like that would come up, I would say I was busy because I was too afraid. So I would miss the opportunity. And I just want you to be paying attention to what's going on.
And so guys, the key takeaway is that Facebook marketing, it's going to help you build your list. You can target perfect prospects. I instantly went from local businesses paying me $200, $500 a clip to charging 5 figures for engagements with chief marketing officers, consulting companies, speaking. I used to go to local B&I meetings, and I would just about hyperventilate saying my own name. And it takes stepping into it, and it takes practice, right?
Yeah.
This is nothing more than practice. Right?
Well, I want to make sure that we have time to talk about podcasting and
yes.
stuff.
So from that experience, here I have all these chief marketing officers, right? And stepped into that, built a business, and built it really fast. My dream was to sell a business by 30, and I did. From Facebook advertising, built a big enough list, sold a business by 30. That was my big dream. The crazy thing, this is all before I met Shanda. And so when I sold it, I had to do what's called an earn-out. So I had to stay on as the CEO for 2 years to actually get all the money that I just made. They don't just hand you a whole, you know, humongous amount of money. You have to stay on so that the company becomes sustainable without you. So here I am staying on. This is my big dream. We had Safeco Insurance, or a $1 billion company, had a corporate business partner. I still had equity. I had 37.5% myself, but I gave up control. My limiting belief as an entrepreneur is I always needed a business partner. Meanwhile, I was a little rock star on my own. I was loving life. And all of a sudden, but I need a business partner. I'm scared. I don't know how to do the accounting. I don't know how to do all this stuff. And I always latched on to somebody else, and every time I got screwed. Every single time over 11 years as an entrepreneur, I got screwed. So here I go, sell my baby and actually people say you can't sell a personal brand. I licensed my personal brand to this company. I made a ton of money doing it. So you can sell a business with a personal brand. So here I go, working with these corporate companies, and I've always given back as I built my businesses. And now it's like, well, Nick, I love your idea, buddy, but we can't give back. We're not profitable yet. And because we invested heavily. I mean, with a corporate background, these guys were like, let's throw in $100,000 to get the deal together for legal fees. 40 grand for a WordPress website, like crazy.
So crazy.
So
WordPress.
money was burning at a rate that I've never even seen before. 15 employees, like crazy. And so I lost control. And so when I met Shanda, I was at a point in my life where I was like, oh my God, I was
working so much.
Oh my God, I can't even tell you. Like my dream since I was a kid was to live what I call a life on fire, was to, grow up and to be able to be a dad one day and not be able to not be a workaholic. And yet I had been living that my entire entrepreneurial career. And it was so crazy. What I was trying to avoid and what my mission was to avoid, I actually was living it. And it was like, what the hell am I doing? So when I met Shanda, I was literally, I don't know, 100 hours a week. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was like completely unhealthy. And I was making tons of money, but I hit this point where I moved to San Diego, got a place on the water. That was a dream. Sold the business was a dream. Had beautiful things. Had cabinets for once. All these cool things were happening. Broke up with my girlfriend, and I found myself alone. And literally, I would call this, even with the debt before, I would call this my rock bottom. Because what I thought was my dream and my mission, the destination I was trying to get to, I got it, and I'm like, fuck, what's next? Like, this isn't even it. And so from that experience, I meet Shanda, because I threw a party at my place, and I was trying to attract cute women. And it kind of worked. Yeah.
Kind of worked.
Yeah. She would not have a margarita. No, it definitely very attractive.
I would not have a drink.
She wouldn't have a margarita. I'm like, God, not just one? No. But so we end up hanging out, and then I started to understand how you live. And she's like, I take a week, a month off, and she starts explaining her life, and I was so blown away. I literally had never met anyone in my entire life that had a lifestyle like that. And I looked at it, and I was like, and you can see how happy she is. She glows all the time. She radiates energy, and you're super happy, and you have it all, right? So I looked at that, and I was like, what am I doing? Like, this is so crazy. And I was like, how on earth do you have all this? Like, what are you doing, right? And then she's just like, oh my God, I have a business coach. She's like, oh, you don't have one? I'm like, no.
See, I really like this outside too.
I'm like, no, I don't have one. And I was like, I mean, remember how I would have run through walls. I just about did. I said, oh my God, I need it, I need it, I need it. I didn't care that it was $36,000. I was banging on this woman's door like, I need you. And she's like, well, we're full. Let me ask Melanie, my team. And I'm like, you have to be kidding me. I need this. I can't take it anymore. From Shanda, see her lifestyle, got inspired, hired a business coach, got Nikki, reinvented myself. And then within just a couple short months, I just said, why not? I walked away from hundreds of thousands of dollars with my business, started from freaking zero, because money is worthless unless you're happy.
We put together his whole business plan on a plane.
We were on a plane. The plane got delayed forever and mapped out literally the entire business. You think about what can happen in a VIP day, you can change your entire life.
I gave up my first class ticket and got stuck on a runway with him for 5 hours. I was so pissed. He was laughing.
It was a day, I literally, a day I will never for the rest of my life ever forget. I will forever just love and adore you for what you've done for me that day. Everything changed, and you talk about strategy, what happens to your life. We mapped it out, and you know what was so fun about it? We mapped out a life, I call a life on fire, just decided that this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to take time off a month too. Okay, let's build that into the plan.
Now he's buying RVs.
I want to make, 50 grand a month. Okay, let's build that into the plan. So it's like whatever you guys really, truly dream of, or the dream that you had when you were a little kid, the dream you have right now today, you can just straight up build a plan for it. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but if you have the right plan, you get the right coaching, you can just build a plan and get done.
Because of your list, you're able to build a lot quicker when you change gears. But I asked him in the back earlier. I was like, we were talking about some of the cool, fun things that we're doing now. And I was like, you did hook up reoccurring income in your business first. He's like, oh, yeah, that's what opened everything up. Do you remember when I was going through the things that I invest my time in? I just invest my time in the same thing over and over and over again and growing it bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, the crazy thing is because I sold the business, my list and everything, I sold that to them. So I had some authority
Rebuild.
from the ads, right? So the ads create brand positioning. You can be that, like, quote, a celebrity in your niche, whether it's fitness. I have a woman in aromatherapy. She just broke 6 figures in her month with our coaching, right?
Yeah.
In 1 month because of Facebook ads. How am I going to get to 7 figures? Let's just do webinars.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, we leverage his company with some of our elites and our diamonds with some of the things they're doing. Now, I will tell you that different, like, the way that we teach first is a lot of recurring income. We teach targeted list building first. We do Facebook list building as well. It's a different animal. It is a very different animal as far as, you know, you need people like you with that. Because I mean, I see some of our people try and go out there and do it themselves, and they're like, one of our clients right now, your husband's trying to do it for you. And she's like, we can't get the ads approved. I'm like, you need to invest in a proper team to do this for you, you know? And it's not cheap. It is expensive, but it's powerful, and you can jump up there quicker. And it's kind of like Joe saying, you got to put a race on the end of things. And, you know, you got to put your ass on the line to be able to get yourself to do it. You got to put your back up against the wall, and then you'll actually do it, right? You can't do it from, I'll wait till I get ready. Let's talk podcasting.
Cool. So,
because I actually really want to know about
this is so freshy fresh. This is really
I keep saying,
new.
don't tell me all about it. I want to learn.
Yeah.
So I've got my little notepad.
All right, so the biggest thing is, with all of us as entrepreneurs, we want to build our brand. We want to build our authority, our influence. So Facebook likes and a list, that's all going to be very congruent to help you do that. One of the things that I did that's also very aligned with Shanda's coaching is the Tell Us Summit strategy. Does everyone know what that is? Raise your hand if you are aware of the Tell Us Summit strategy.
Well, sure. It's basically, for short, it's basically an interview series where you strategically work with experts in your field. Like, say you wanna launch a product or a service based on a topic like love, like how to find love, right? You can find other experts that already have big followings that are coaching around love. And if you can make it a little bit controversial, it's even better. And so you interview a series of those people. They all mail their databases. There's more to this, but they all mail their databases. It comes back. It's a highly targeted list. So the conversion rates are really, really high off of it.
I mean, so the outcome of doing that strategy is if you can do this, it's going to build up your brand because you're putting yourself next to the icons in your industry.
Yeah.
So when I talk about my first month in the business, well, by my 6th month mark, the reason I broke 6 figures is because I did this Facebook Mastery Summit. So I took, Mari Smith and Mike Koenigs and all these big names in the industry, and I got them on my summit. And you have to position it as what's in it for them. And I made it a win for them. Hey, I'm running a ad budget for this. We're going to get exposure. If they're a big name, like, how am I going to get Tony Robbins on the summit that I'm doing? If the guy needs to sell on it, he can sell on it. If he needs me to pay him, I'll pay him. I'll find a way, right? You can get people on these things. And what happens is you not only build a relationship with them, which is really key, but you put your face next to theirs. And so for everyone else in the world, you're instantly elevated to that level, and it's a total game changer from a brand perspective. Then as you execute this thing and they cross-promote for it, the next thing you know, you're building your email list, and now you actually have a business. Right, so the strategy has served me and many people very well. It's
almost everybody, a lot of people I know, even somebody came up to me here and said, oh, Chris Howard promoted you, and that's how I think I know you, and you gained instant credibility. It really is.
And so that's a great way to get your business off the ground. And another thing is, if you do have a couple limiting beliefs about, can I do this? I'm new and all that. First of all, you got to get rid of that. But second
first of all, just talk to any of my clients, because almost all of them have done telesummits, and some of them started brand new without a list, without any sort of nobody knew them in the market, and now people know them, right? Yeah.
So the cool thing is, you can actually just have a passion. You don't even have to have all the skills. So, because you're actually interviewing for their expertise. Yeah. So what's interesting is that from that strategy, what typically happens is now that it's a little bit more common to do these things, depending on the niche, so they're not as new and innovative. So the way that we're freshening it up is that, we're adding a whole twist to it because, and I'll just kind of walk through how we're going to do it. So it's all going to be in the frame of how we're doing it, but I think I want you guys to see that and then just put yourself in the story. So in my case, I shifted from, Facebook guy to now Life on Fire. My mission to help people live like Shanda, basically, and how I live now.
We call it the Shanda lifestyle.
Yeah, we do. So I should have just been called Shanda on Fire, and I'm like a big promoter. So the way we're looking at it is, I'm aggressively building my brand, right? And I'm running Facebook ads. That's how everything's growing. And then I have a content strategy. So the content strategy, I want to be different. So I'm doing a weekly video show.
You want to be different. Write that down.
So I'm doing a weekly video show called Life on Fire TV, and that's to build up. So that, you're not going to build a list overnight with content. So to me, that's a long-term play. So if you can follow the telesummit strategy, pound, pavement, get clients, build recurring income with clients, content's going to build authority, and that's your walk-away income in my opinion, right? So it's as simple as a weekly video show, and it's me on camera. My format, I'm spicing it up. I'm actually going to be I'm interviewing people now. So I'm gonna, I want to do an interview at your house, and it's like MTV Cribs, because I'm thinking, how do I make mine different, right? And if I do an interview at your place and it's all on camera and it's super cool, then she might look at it and say, I want to share that to our audience, and that's exactly what we want. We want the shares. So I created the format behind it, and then I'm thinking, all right, how do I build up audience really fast? And then for me, my history as an entrepreneur, I had gotten screwed on timing so many times, right? I got in real estate in 2007 when the market crashed. All right, awesome, Nick. In college, I did telecom when I was selling local service and long distance in 2000, 2001. Cell phones came out, annihilated all that. So I had a habit of that, but now I'm hyper aware, right? So I'm very aware of, the reason I did Facebook marketing is not because that was the love of my life. It was timing is amazing. Now I have my purpose with Life on Fire, but right now I can see things in internet marketing so clearly because I'm so aware of timing. And so for right now, timing podcasting is huge, and I'll get into why. So I want to grow this show, Life on Fire TV. I want to build up an audience. We're using Facebook ads and things like that. But that's amazing. But right now in the market, out of all the things, a huge, I hate to be as cheesy to call it a gold rush, but it is what's called podcasting. So podcasting is not new at all. It's so funny. I'm such a good noob. So I meet these top podcasters, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And they're like, dude, this has been around for years. But it hasn't hit critical mass. It hasn't hit the tipping point. So now in 2014, all new cars are coming with this thing called Stitcher Radio, where podcasts flow from your car, right? It's hitting major critical mass and major adoption. And so what's happening is, so a podcast, raise your hand if you've actually listened to a podcast. Okay, so I'm kind of one of the last guys, I'm aware of the timing marketing-wise, but I was late to that, trend. But so here's the thing. The podcast, all it is it could be audio or video, and it's a show. Think of it as a radio show, or in my case, it's an online video show. And the thing is that it attaches to iTunes. So iTunes, what we don't think about and what I didn't realize is iTunes has hundreds of millions of people that go to iTunes every day, consume podcasts, buy stuff, do stuff, right? So there's this other world. We think about marketing on Facebook and people there. We think about on Google.
How do you get people to find it on iTunes?
That is the key, right? So the thing with iTunes is it represents a humongous audience. And I've got a really good friend. His name is John Lee Dumas from Entrepreneur on Fire. You may want to look at his income report he put out 2 days ago, and he netted over $160,000. Netted. Guess what he does? He interviews entrepreneurs. That's it. That's it. He loves entrepreneurs. He loves hearing the journeys. He loves helping people. He interviews entrepreneurs, netting $160,000. The cool thing about podcasting is even if you're not the expert, but you're passionate about it, you could be passionate about freaking golf, you could be passionate about cooking, and you could find the experts in that field and build a show around it because there's people that love that too. And so what's cool is that from meeting him, I went to the New Media Expo. It's the largest expo. I actually spoke there, which is super cool. They got me in the, in with all the top podcasters. So I rubbed shoulders and
Here he goes again.
I had to drink tons of cocktails to meet all these people at their VIP parties, but it was worth it. And so I got to meet everybody and found that out of all the forms of media in 2014, they are the most excited about podcasting.
So could some of my clients that have done, or lots of them have done telesummits, could they take their interviews from those summits and load them onto iTunes? Now, how do they get people to find them?
Yeah, so that's exactly right.
Sorry,
So if you have content, then that content you can, and if it's not like stale, like my Facebook stuff from a year ago is not going to work. But if you have interviews from entrepreneurs and it's still relevant, then what we want to make sure is your audio quality has to be good. You want to make sure that you have an intro and outro. So your first step, and I'll definitely get to like the launch thing. Your first step is go onto iTunes, go on your phone, get the app that says podcast, and take that app and find people in your niche. So use that modeling technique. What are they doing? You're going to notice, go to the audio side, go to the video side. Look at what people are doing. So for me, when I'm inventing my show, I'm looking at what John's doing, what Michael O'Neill from the Solopreneur Hour is doing, all these cool people that are making money. And I'm like, all right, how am I going to do this different? Right? So they interview other entrepreneurs because if I interview Shanda and Shanda promotes it to everybody too, we both win a lot.
Which
we're
you just found out
cross-promoting.
that's kind of what happened.
And so my thing is that if they're doing it all on audio, I'm going to be different. I'm going to be the video guy. I'm going to be doing it like in their home MTV Cribs style. I have Pay It Forward Friday, do random acts of kindness on camera and surprise the crap out of people. That's so different. So the whole thing is figure out who is in your audience, look at their intros and outros. They all sound like crazy radio voice. They have like Australian people. You're watching Life on Fire TV, you know? So they all have interesting things going on. Then you just have to edit, make an intro and an outro. Now you have a show, right? Mm-hmm. So now that you've got content, or if you don't have content, you can just look at what people are doing and create content. And so when you want to go to get started on it, I'm actually going to explain this in the way of doing a telesummit.
Okay.
So if you have a telesummit, great. If you don't have a telesummit, do one. And here's the brilliance behind it is if you do a telesummit, you know that you're going to have 10, 15, 20 sessions, and you tell the people that, yes, you're going to promote the telesummit, but yes, this is a part of your new podcast. You're having them on your show. Take the word interview and punt it. Get it out of here. No one wants to be, quote, interviewed is a boring, like, it's work. Hey, I want to feature you on my show. Do you want to co-host my show with me? It's totally different. I asked the guy with one of the top podcasts. I said, hey, man, I'd really love to interview you for this thing I got coming up, this telesummit thing. And he goes, I'm super busy.
It's fine. I want to feature you as one of the subject
and
lines
then,
I use.
not more than 5 minutes later, Michael O'Neill, that has a brand new podcast, says, yeah, hey, what's going on? And we're in the same circle talking. And he's like, yeah. He's like, so what do you do? Oh, he's like, I've got a show named the Solopreneur Hour. Yeah, I'd love to have you co-host my show with me. And the guy goes, oh, I'd love to. I'd love podcasting. They exchange phone numbers. And I'm like, mother effer. Like, it's a way, and I actually came back to that guy and I said, hey, let me ask you a question. How do you perceive the difference between an interview and I wasn't being pushy. I was just so curious. And he said, oh, it's totally different. And I'm like, well, I have a podcast. He goes, okay, cool. Then I'll be on it. I'm like, all right. So the podcast is actually going to be better for branding. So here's the thing. Set up your summit, add value for the speakers. In my case, I'm going to run a contest. I'm going as big as I can go. I'm having the guts I have Gary Vaynerchuk, who's a big-time New York Times bestselling author, Kim contracted. I'm leveraging that one name to then go to Tony Robbins.
You're anchoring it.
And I'm going to say, hey, I've got guys like Gary and Tony. I'm going to go to, I'm even being so bold as I'm going to try and get Richard Branson. I have a friend that knows him very well. And so I'm going to go as big as I can, but you don't want just all mega stars like that because they're not going to really promote that hard for you. You want to sprinkle it in. So just imagine you go out, you get 10, 15 people. The thing is you're going to have that, so people, the consumers, once you're set up, they're going to opt in to get the sessions with those speakers, right, for the summit. Here's the key thing. The only way that they're going to get the replays, this is like totally crazy. Ninja. The only way that they're going to get the replay, how many people do you think are going to want the replays? Everybody. The only way they're going to be able to consume the replay is by downloading your podcast. And they have to subscribe to the podcast to get it. So people are going to be like, what's a podcast? Well, you're going to have to click this link and go download it, right? It's simple. It's on your phone. They're going to realize, wow, this is more convenient. So here's the thing. The reason we want to do that is because when you're launching a podcast, your entire mission, to your point, is to get what's called on the top of new and noteworthy. So new and noteworthy is this free traffic from iTunes. This is why the timing is amazing, because new and noteworthy, you get on that chart. I have a friend that got over a couple 100,000 downloads. You guys talk about building a list, and we spend $3 to $5 for an email opt-in. You're talking build a business for free from iTunes. Like, he just broke 5 figures a month. He's less than 6 months with this thing. This guy interviews people. That's it. If you don't have a business, look at what these guys are doing. You could just do that as a business. If you have a business, use this for Shanda. Build a weekly show. You've got so much content, so much to give this world. Her weekly video show, let's just say, this is one more outlet. You already put it to YouTube. You put it to your blog. This is no different than what we're already talking about. Podcasting just represents one more distribution place. So it's not a big, huge pain in the neck.
Yeah, so what I want you to hear about this, and this is something that I was talking about the end of last year, I think I was going like really crazy about pay attention to like doing things in a systematic order. Like, as you get your foundation set and you're looking at like ninja things like this, it's really fun to start adding stuff like that into your business after you get your reoccurring income set up and you start playing around with stuff like this, and you've got the bandwidth to do it, and it bumps, right?
Huge.
It completely bumps. So, and you have the confidence to do it. So
yeah.
I'm going to go play with this.
Oh, it's going to be huge. We'll definitely.
We need to have you speak to our clients again.
I would love to.
Yeah, in the next couple weeks.
You only inspired this whole business.
Oh, I just fist bumped you. I can't believe I did that. I always bug him about that. Dude, fist bump. So
don't call Shanda dude. Do call Shanda dude. She loves it.
No, I hate it. Okay, so we only have about 12 minutes left before we close up. I wanted to take a couple questions.
Cool.
Is that good for you?
Totally.
Okay, so if you want to ask a couple questions, then jump to the mics.
And by the way, you get on that new and noteworthy. It's free for everybody. I'm sneaking it in. It's free for everybody. You got to get on there, and they promote you for 8 weeks. It's the new and noteworthy juice, right? You get on there, and then your mission is to stay up on the charts. It's all free leads.
See how it's gamification? They've
free
gamified
downloads.
This, and that's why the addiction is there.
So Life on Fire TV, watch the rollout. We should do a training for everybody when we go live and share it up.
We will. My clients will definitely. We've already been talking about doing a training for you guys on this.
Hi, Nick. Shanda mentioned yesterday that Nick Unsworth was coming, and I was like, is that the Nick Unsworth of the West Hartford card?
What? The new perks card.
You think you knew him when? We were up at 7:30 every other Friday morning with 50 people networking. Hi, how are you? Exchanging the business cards.
You know, I adore you. You guys could totally like collaborate, but we only got 10 minutes.
New perks card of West Hartford.
In fact, can I break attorney-client privilege?
No.
Just
ask your question.
You advised me to file bankruptcy.
My comment.
It told me, Nick, you're like really screwed. You should file bankruptcy.
I said,
what did I say?
I don't remember, but I just remember he was a hustler. He was like, this didn't work, but I'm doing this. And I can't believe you're here.
That's made it has that
Good
mentality.
job.
Holy crap, that's crazy. I can't believe. So I was in such debt from the perks card
We need people to ask some questions.
Oh my God, that's
I love you
crazy.
guys.
We'll catch up.
Well, bankruptcy attorney was here.
I know, but
I said no to bankruptcy and. Okay.
So inspiring. Look who he is, and I'm still in the
Hey, say no to bankruptcy, pay your bills, guys.
Yeah, my stepdad got advised bankruptcy too, and he was like, nope, now he has
I'll get out of that.
company.
Good morning,
Crazy.
Nick. Margaret Mills. My question is, you talked about these people that did podcasts and were doing like 6 figures a month. Where's the revenue come from? Back end on their coaching programs or through advertisement or what?
Here's what's super fun about it is if you don't even have a business yet, you can use affiliate revenue. So find out, if I'm in health and fitness, I'm going to find who has the best Juice Cleanse product. I'm going to be an affiliate for them. They're going to love you. They'll probably cross-promote. You don't even need products. Now, that's one revenue model. The other one is sponsorship. If you're an internet marketer, you're like us, you don't have an opportunity to just go to a corporate sponsor and just get money.
Or if you have a product or services, yes, you could sell your stuff back end.
Yeah, so like corporate sponsors, you track your downloads so that you can then show how many downloads you have, and you can get, GoDaddy, there's tons of them. But the best answer is when you have your own stuff. You make the highest margin, of course. Yeah. So that's the best answer.
Go ahead.
Answered my question. Thank you.
Boom.
Hey there. I was wondering if I know iTunes is wonderful and all, but what about the Android market? Is there a community there that you can do something very similar with and tap into that as well?
Yeah, so iTunes is one space, and then there's a technology called Libsyn, and it will get distributed on other platforms too, so you can tap into that. Libsyn,
Good question.
L-Y-B-S-N.
So you market in Facebook. Do you market anywhere else other than Facebook, or is Facebook your only?
I do what works. So I mean, I don't
That's
even.
all we market on. We
Yeah.
don't do Google AdWords or any of that.
It's too expensive everywhere else.
Yeah, it's more targeted.
And as far as like Google Hangouts or anything like that?
So I mean, Hangouts can be good to get those videos ranked. We have major challenges getting videos ranked. We've tried to hire multiple companies. We've done quite a bit of work with video marketing. It can be done. It's just a little bit challenging. We have a video show, so we are aggressively working to figure it out.
One of our friends is starting to play in that market a lot. Robert, he's starting to play. I don't know if he's here right now. Is Robert here right now?
Hangouts will rank faster than a regular video uploaded to YouTube, though, for sure.
Okay,
Awesome.
great. Just want to comment. Good job. I know for myself, I'm not a big Facebook person and never have been, and all postings on my Facebook are because somebody else posted it. But inside of getting into Facebook and doing right-click ads and so forth, like I was introduced to it in December time frame or November time frame through Brittany Lynch, and I said, God, I got to do this. Everybody can do this. How tough is it? And I just, sat myself down and did it. And in a couple hours, I had an ad up. And the conversion, her rule of thumb is if you have 100 clicks and you don't get a conversion, close down your ad. It's all about marketing and retweaking and going back. I only did 2 little ads to see how it worked, but it boosted my confidence. Like, whew.
For you, I suggest you keep playing in the market because that's kind of your mobile and that's your tech world. For most people who are not, tech is not their thing, hire someone. Seriously, hire somebody to do it.
It can be very
Unless you
time-consuming.
are an internet marketer and you love that stuff, most people, based on talking to people in this room, you are business and you're using the internet to market.
Put it in perspective, we've got people that we've trained over the years, and Valerie Shootman, as an example, John Lee Dumas. Let's say he pays her $3,000 a month. He put in $1,700 into his ads, and in 1 week, he pulled out 19.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Go ahead.
So my question is, I'm still not quite sure how people find you. So if you had a podcast, say you had a summit, you uploaded, you put your stuff into a podcast, and people are trying to find you. One way I heard you talk about was that on a replay that they can only do that if they sign up, so they subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah. So
is there another way that? Or is that the only
so
way?
the goal with a podcast is anyone that starts one, you get on this thing called new and noteworthy. Now, if your sound quality is okay and stuff, so that represents just free, literally a free gift of traffic. But you want to get up. The higher you are in that category, it's like being on the first page of. It is literally like being on the first page of iTunes. So you want to get up those charts. So that'll happen if you have a decent quality show. So the reason the Telesummit works into that is because you're going to get all the cross promotion from other people. You're going to have more influence, so that when those people want the replay, you say, hey, to get the replay, you've got to get the show on iTunes. So you just subscribe to my podcast to get the replay I just did with Shanda Sumpter. So what's going to happen is that's going to drive more people to subscribe. And iTunes has an algorithm and how they rank shows. So after working with all these podcasters and testing stuff in their businesses, we now know exactly what needs to happen to launch, to move the needle on that, and it's subscribers and it's reviews on your show. So if in that first 8 weeks, if you get your show to go from, the bottom of New and Noteworthy, which is still really cool, but launch it correctly, get to the top of New and Noteworthy, you're literally talking hundreds of thousands of downloads. That will propel you into getting into your category as maybe you're number 30 in the business category, right? So, and then you're getting more and more free traffic.
This is great for you, Summer.
I have to chime in. It's not my turn yet.
No, go ahead.
Okay, I was just going to ask, should we have our experts market it as that instead of the summit?
Well, the cool thing is that you can still do the summit
Yeah.
live.
Right.
Because to me, live is nice, because if I've got a guy like Richard Branson, I actually feel like I'd be cheating everybody to not give him live. Having people interacting, asking questions, doing a hangout
Mine's
with
not
them.
live anyway. I mean, it's
She's doing
pre-recorded.
this recorded.
Oh, if you're doing everything pre-recorded, then yeah, in your case you would do it as a as
Okay.
just a podcast.
And then what's the best time? How long are these shows?
The best answer is to look at your market and look what people are doing, and then just be creative. People thought that John Lee Dumas, who's making over 160 grand net a month, great lifestyle, Shanda lifestyle, people said that it would never work doing a 7-day-a-week podcast. He shattered that. And the reason he's growing so fast is because he's interviewing 7 people 7 days a week, meaning he's getting cross-promotion 7 days a week, 365 days a year. He's getting people to cross-promote him. He's growing so rapidly. So in your case, you look at your market, and then look at what is your gut. Look at what's other people are doing, what's working, and then say, just what does your intuition say?
And look at your style.
Yeah.
You know
Your
what I
style.
mean? Like, my style is really no fluff, get to the point. So ideally, I really like 30-minute, 45-minute shows.
And I mean, you could
there's
have
like guys, internet marketers that I know that are like doing 90 minutes, but they, there's just.
Imagine waking up to Shanda and her giving you literally a 1-minute message, like
We're
wake
working-
up.
we're working
you know
on
what I'm saying?
that right now.
But like
It's so
that
funny
right
you
there,
said that.
that'd be a cool show, and that's so different. No one has a short show, you know?
Chris and I are projecting that out right now.
Woohoo!
Damn, I forgot.
I'll
my
tune
other
in.
question.
Go ahead, Summer.
Nick, we have to talk.
Sweet.
She's like product
I'm
queen.
chatty if you can't tell.
Yeah. So I have a podcast, and I've had it for about 9 years. So I've got about 400 episodes, and I'm going to back up everything you say. It's called Flow Dreaming, and if you look it up on your phone right now, you can find it in the iTunes store, or you can look up the App Store.
That's actually how I found you.
Yeah, okay. So, and it's kind of instructive if you want to do it, because you're going to see that the company I use is Libsyn, and that's Libsyn. So they have created an app for me. I have created the podcast. The result is that I get about 24,000 downloads a month of my podcast. Costs me $20 a month for
Crazy.
Libsyn. $20.
What are
Yeah.
you doing off the back end of that that's monetizing?
Well, I advertise during my podcast because it airs first as a live radio program.
Does that make you? Does that make you good money?
I think that, yeah, actually it does.
Okay.
Because pretty much all of my product sales come from the fact that I have tons of new people coming in, always finding my stuff.
Okay.
And, iTunes, as a result, ranks me higher. More people look at it. More people talk about it. It's totally free advertising, essentially. I mean, iTunes does all my work.
Cool.
And the cool thing is she has an audience. That's most important.
Yeah.
And then she can monetize creating products like Shanda's teaching or any way to monetize. And just a quick little tidbit, you take your show and you create a new one. That's the archive version. iTunes and John Lee Dumas, they meet very frequently. They gave him that strategy. He did it. He's now top on New and Noteworthy with his same exact show, but it's the archives.
The archive version? See, because
Yeah.
I have a premium subscription. So
No, I'm
people
just
can
saying-
purchase the archives that way, extra.
I'm saying that you would create another show
Based
and
on all my old
launch
stuff?
again using the exact content you
So I
already
can
have.
get back in the New and
Yeah.
Noteworthy a second time.
So there's part of the strategies is you can have multiple shows. The reason I have Life on Fire TV plus Pay It Forward Friday, we're going to cross promote. So we're going to be a new, and plus I have, this is really crazy. I'm going to get on the top of New and Noteworthy for audio for Life on Fire TV, for video for Life on Fire TV.
Right.
Then on a separate another, so that's 2 times. Then Pay It Forward Friday audio, Pay It Forward Friday video. I'm going to have 4 shows that launch at the same time, cross-promoting each other, getting reviews for each other, and it's like my own little network. And so if I go to an advertiser, I can be like, yeah, you want to advertise on Life on Fire TV? Great, we have 2 platforms. We have audio and video. We have 30,000 on the audio, and we have 80,000 on the video. So for when John Lee Dumas came back, there's a reason he bumped from 108 grand a net to 160. Facebook advertising, number 2, relaunching his exact same show as an archives version, and he's just getting the juice again. So
this is what Nick's really good at platforms, like his review platforms online. Like he's very good. This is how his mind thinks.
Little strategy guy.
Yeah, but platforms.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are actually out of time, but your facial expressions, I love that. I'm glad this was helpful. Yeah, glad this was helpful.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed the session of this episode of Life on Fire TV. And what I'd love for you to do is right now, while it's fresh, while the moment is here and it's hot, go to lifeonfire.com and interact, plug in, ask questions, and share your comments. And on our website, we have so much freaking information. We've got other Life on Fire TV episodes. We've got Pay It Forward Friday, which is an inspirational, fun show on that website as well. And we've got everything from coaching programs to information products to help you live your life on fire. And that's what this is about. That's why we put all the time into doing this. So we would love for you to come to lifeonfire.com, check us out, interact. We've got a great community, and say what's up. So in the meantime, I'm gonna go get ready and change my shirt, get ready for a stroll. You know what I mean? Just all right, so I work from home, and I'm about to throw on my gym shoes, and so sometimes the shirt's an illusion. So I'm gonna go for a jog. It is beautiful outside. You can get a scene of the outside. It's gorgeous. So I'm just gonna go live my life on fire, get in shape, and go for a quick jog. But check out lifeonfire.com. All right, we'll see you guys.
I'm here to help you set your life on fire.